Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Pobble Live. Whilst we wait for other people to join us on Pobble Live, please feel free to give us a like. If this is your first time here, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Because if you press the bell icon, you will get weekly reminders when we go live. Hi, Mr. Keeling. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode. Starting off with, ooh, that's the wrong side. I mean, you can't see it anyway, so it could be over this side. To me, when I look at the screen, the number of viewers is here. So at the minute, we're at 15, which is a nice starting number. Nearly at 100 subs. I know that's exciting stuff too. And it'll be good when we do a slightly longer live stream, which I won't tell you about right now, but that is upcoming in the future. Hi, sir. Hello. Good to see you. Remember, if you put yours or your parents' accounts or names in the chat that's coming up at the minute, the side live chat, you will get a chance to win a prize. Now, if you put your name in that chat this week, if you put your name in the chat this week, you have a chance of being drawn out next week in the prize draw. And if you were here last week watching along live and you put your name in the chat, you will be drawn for a prize today. So yes, absolutely. Is there a prize today? There is a prize today, and we will be doing a prize draw for Pobble a little bit later on. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, I've got some new names here. That's great. Welcome. The first Pobble Prize was drawn on the last video. We'll draw another one today. Okay, we've got up to 18 people. That's really good. Please remember to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And without further ado, we will go on to our central subject, our main focus of Pobble Live today, and that is the sun. Now, it won't be exactly our main focus, but you'll have noticed if you got your Pobble picture this week, there's a picture of a boy. The boy has a tennis racket. I would have put the picture up, but when I made it larger, it wasn't a very high quality picture, so it all went blurry. So I didn't. So I'll just describe it to you. But your Pobble picture for this week was of a boy with a tennis racket, and he was using it to play tennis with the sun. And from that, what I decided to do with Pobble Live today is to break it into two. The first part, I'm going to talk a little bit about the sun. And for the second part, we'll have a look at a piece of writing, which is going to be, this week, a setting description and how we can improve a setting description. Let's have a look at our chat. What is the Pobble Prize? Well, there are several Pobble Prizes, and you'll get to go to the head teacher's office and collect them if you are a winner. Hi from year one. Fabulous. Hello. Wonderful. Hi. Lots of people in the chat, lots of people on the video. Fabulous. Okay. So our central focus today is the sun. And we're going to start off just with a few little facts about the sun. But before I go into any facts, is there anything that you know about the sun? I've collected what I think are some of the most interesting facts about our sun. Is there anything that you know that you would like to share with me? It's hot. Yeah, I mean, there probably are other descriptive words, but that's funny. The sun is a big star. Wonderful. In fact, it's not that big a star. That's one of my facts. It's not that big a star. The Earth is over 4 billion years old. That's a great fact. It is very, 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 very old, our Earth. It's very hot. If you touch it, it could hurt you. Yeah, well, you wouldn't be able to touch it. It's too hot. You wouldn't be able to get close enough. Any other facts that we know about our sun? Just type them into the chat and we'll share them. It's in the Milky Way. Absolutely. That's our galaxy. The sun is within the Milky Way, and it actually orbits the Milky Way. So it moves around the Milky Way. I know that it is 4.6 million years old. Now, that is not quite accurate. We'll talk about that in a second, but a very, very close point. We're up to 20 viewers. That's excellent. Remember to like and subscribe if you are on this video. It's not even the biggest star. Is middle. It's not even really middle, to be honest. We'll talk about that. Any other facts that we know about the sun or the universe? Whoa, 22 viewers. That is great. Keep on viewing. If there's people there that want to join in at home, family, friends, etc., feel free to invite them. I mean, billion, not million. There we go. There we go. Fabulous. That's it. Pop your name in the chat, or pop just pop a message into the chat to let us know that you're here for those Pobble Prizes. Black hole is 10 times bigger than the sun. Can be. Stars have to generally be very, very big to create black holes. What is the most viewers? I think the most viewers that I had on a video was about 200 if you look back. I think we've just got 200 on one of them. The sun is so big, it could fit 1.3 million Earths could fit in it. Whoa, I'd have to check that fact myself. I don't know about that. Okay, let's have a look at some of my facts. Let's see if they're as interesting as yours. So, some interesting sun facts. A giant cloud of gas collapsed on itself to form the sun approximately 4.5, 4.6, yes, somewhere around there, billion years ago. If I wrote that as a number, let's have a look at that as an actual number. I'll do the 4.6 one. So that's 4 billion, 600 million. So that there would be the millions. That would be the 100,000s. And that would be the thousands. So a very, very, very large number. So, and that's years as well. It's very old. Our sun is very, very old. And it's about halfway through its lifespan. So the sun is about halfway through its lifespan, meaning that it will continue to burn for another 4.5 billion years. The sunlight reaches Earth in 8.3 minutes. That's actually part of my fact as well, and we'll talk about that in a minute. That's really good. Did you know that the sun will have major activity next year? It may eat Earth. Internet might go out for 5 days. I don't know what we would do without internet. I don't know what I would do without Pobble Live, but that's a very interesting fact. Thank you. Okay, second fact, the sun is a star, which we've mentioned, but not a particularly grand one. So it's certainly not one of the biggest stars in our universe. And we'll have a little look at that in a moment. Did you know you can see the past by looking at the sky? Now, this is one of my favorite facts, but not just about the sun or stars, but about space. This is one of my favorite facts about space. Basically, there is a speed to light. The speed at which light travels. Now, we've mentioned here that it takes 8 minutes for the sun's light to get to Earth. That means the light that we are seeing is actually 8 minutes old. So we are seeing light that left the sun 8 minutes ago. So when we look up to the sky, we don't ever look directly at the sun because that would hurt our eyes. But the sun that we see is actually what the sun looked like 8 minutes ago, because it took 8 minutes for the sun's light to reach us. Let's think about the stars now. The stars are much further away than the sun. Miles and miles and miles and miles. Hundreds of thousands of millions of miles. They are so far away that their light can take a very, very long time to reach us. In fact, it could take the light from the stars that we see at night millions of years to reach Earth. So that means that when you look at the sky at night, you're not seeing the stars how they look right now. You're seeing them how they might have looked millions of years ago, which I find fascinating. Some of the stars that you see in the sky, because it's taken so long for that light to reach us, well, they're not even there anymore. Interesting fact. How long would it take to get there? Well, if those stars are that far away, basically light year is not a measurement of time, it's a measurement of distance. So if I was traveling at the speed of light, if a star is a million light years away, it would take me a million years to reach that star at the speed of light. That's what it indicates. Hi, Mr. Keeling. Lovely to have you. Thank you for coming and putting your name into our chat. Okay, the sun orbits around the center of the Milky Way. We talked about this. So the sun orbits around the center of the Milky Way. And it takes up to, for the sun to get all the way around the Milky Way, because it's so big, it takes it 250 million years, about 250 million years to make it all the way around. It travels at the speed of 220 kilometers per second. So every second it's gone 220 kilometers. Very, 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 very fast. The sun is in space. You are 100% correct there. Okay, I've got a video that I find fascinating about space and about the sun and about planets. And what this video that I'm about to show you, what this video does is it shows you how big things are in space, and it compares them to how big they are with one another. Now, some of my class may have already seen this video, and some people that I've taught in the past may have seen this video, because I really, really, really like this video. But I'm going to get it up. I'm going to get this video up, and we are going to look at the different sizes of different planets and stars in our universe. So, 1 second.
When you write, your tone influences how readers respond. With Grammarly, just highlight your text and...
Okay. Now, the sound isn't that important on this, just as long as you can kind of clearly see that video in the background. So this is starting with a dwarf planet. I'll talk over this a little bit as it goes through, but it's going to show you the difference in sizes between certain things that are in our universe. If you want to, it's called universe size comparison. The sun is not the biggest of all, and we'll see that in a minute on here. It's called universe size comparison, and it's a really good comparison of the different objects in our universe. So if you want to watch this at home after I've put it on, feel free to look it up. But here we go. We're going to watch it together. Okay, so we've got Pluto there, which is another dwarf planet. Then next to it, we can see Europa, and then our moon. So our moon is bigger than some of those dwarf planets, bigger than Pluto. Then we've got Mercury, which is in our solar system, bigger than the moon. Then we've got Titan, which is also in our universe. That's a moon of Saturn. Then we've got Mars, which is just slightly bigger than the moon. Much bigger than Mars, though. We've got Venus, which is almost looks double its size. Then there's us, Earth. But let's see what comes after Earth. Whoa, much bigger than us is something called Kepler 22b. Neptune, much, much bigger than Earth. Then we have Uranus, about the same size as Neptune, but then way bigger is Saturn. Look how huge Saturn is. Jupiter, even bigger. And then we have our sun. And if we have a look, this tiny dot down here that you can barely see is us compared to the sun. The sun is huge, but it's not the biggest thing in our universe. We get bigger. Sirius A, a dwarf star. Then a giant star. Look at our sun. Look how small our sun's getting. This is Pollux. Much, much, much bigger. And then much bigger than that, we have Arcturus. Look at that. And then Sagittarius A. But these aren't the biggest things in our universe. They keep getting bigger. Keep watching. Let's see what comes next. Slightly bigger. Whoa. Here we go. Remember how big everything else was? We'll see if we can see our sun. Right. That is so big, what you're seeing right now. Our sun is smaller than a full stop compared to that. Think about how massive our sun is. And whoa, it gets bigger. And bigger. And bigger. 2.4 billion kilometers, that is. 3 billion kilometers. but that's nothing compared to the next one. Can't even see Earth. We are so small, microscopic in comparison. Look at that. Huge. 240 billion kilometers. That is a supermassive black hole. So much larger than all of the stars. Another black hole. Then we have a nebula, which is a collection of stars. It would take 2.6 years traveling at the speed of light to travel across that. 7 years at the speed of light to travel across this. 9.5 years at the speed of light to travel that. And here's a galaxy made up of stars and planets, billions of them. 220 light years. Up here it tells you how big a light year is. Or it did. It doesn't anymore. Oh, here we are. 1 light year. That many. 9.4 trillion kilometers in a light year. Numbers that even I don't understand. Numbers so big. We just can't comprehend how big they are. There are even more planets. There's more planets than we know of, than we can observe. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Here we go. Look at this. Think about how big everything else was, and now this. This is the universe. But this is only the part of the universe. That was only the part of the universe that we could see. So there's more. Who knows how much more? But space is so vast, huge, infinitely large. Okay. Back to the point. This is, after all, a writing session. Light years. So what are light years? Very simply, if you were traveling at the speed of light, it would take you 1 year to get across 1 light year. Yeah. So if you were traveling at 9 trillion kilometers every year, it would take you 1 year to get that far. Okay. If you want to, this is where we can break off. Because if you would like to, at this point in the video, and if you're not watching live, you can do this at this point too. If you would rather write me a fact file or just facts about the universe, about space, about the sun, about our planet, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And I love space. My brother loves space even more than I do. And he knows a lot more about it than I do. But if you would like to, you could go away, do some research, ask your parents, get online, and find me as many facts as you can about space, about the universe, about our planet, and come and share them with me tomorrow. That would be excellent. If you want to do that, go do that now. The fact file would be fantastic. But we're going to work on something else as well, which I'm about to get on to. How long will it take to make a light year in a rocket? I don't know the answer to that. It would be so long. No one would be able to live long enough for that. It would take years and years and years and years and lifetimes and generations and generations and generations to go 1 light year, because our rockets just aren't that fast. Okay. Let's move on to the other focus for our lesson then. So that was part 1, which is fact file or collecting facts about space, about the sun. But an additional focus that I wanted to look at was stopping there. That's for people who can go and do it. Our additional focus was a setting description. This is the setting description I've chosen because it is a landscape, a vast, wide landscape that is bathed in beautiful, shimmering, golden sunlight. And just before we start building sentences about this, because this is going to be the main part of the session, writing sentences for this setting. Oh, let me clarify, by the way. Does everyone know what a setting is? Can anyone write in the chat what a setting is, please? Does anybody know what a setting is? Yep, good. Glad that you know. Could you write what it is? What is a setting, please? A setting is a place, yeah. So usually where a story or a movie or where something that you're watching or reading is set, the place where something happens. So we are looking at this place and we are going to generate ideas and sentences today to describe it, okay? So starting off, initial impressions, can we collect any good language to describe this? Anything we can add to my whiteboard to describe this picture. And I'll just give you a moment to have a look at it. So we've got the sun, we've got the fields, we've got the trees. Let me make that bigger, actually. Let's go to slideshow. Current slide. There we go. Have a look at that picture. Are there any words that you just want to put into the chat to begin with to describe the image that I have up there? Peaceful. Love it. Okay, so let's add that one in. Peaceful. Yeah. And I can think of some synonyms for peaceful. So I can think of words like calm. I can think of words like relaxing. I can think of words like serene. I can think of lots of different words. Breezy. Yeah, and maybe it's a sunset. So it could be a sunset or the opposite, sunset or sunrise. Lovely. So sunrise, a sunset. And what was the other word? Breezy. Yeah, it could be breezy there. A little bit of a breeze. Not too much to take away from the lovely hues. Oh, hues of the colours and the nice view. But it has a little bit of mist and fog in the background as well. So maybe we could describe how mysterious that might be. So sunrise, sunset, breezy. Let me use a darker colour because that's not very clear. Blistering heat, yeah. So hot, it could cause blisters. I like that. Blistering heat, absolutely. Nature, misty. Okay, nature. Wonderful. Misty. Lovely. What else have we got? Grassy, yeah. Full of grass and greenery. Grassy. Majestic. You know, I was thinking of that word. Lovely. Majestic. Yeah. It's majesty. Majestic. Calm, peaceful, tranquil, maybe. Tranquil, yeah. Majestic, grassy, misty, nature, blistering. Calm, yeah, we've got that one up there. Peaceful. Spring or summer, yeah, so we could refer to the season. Spring, summer. Good ideas. Anything else that we've got? Nature, yeah, I've got nature up there. Nature-like. Anything else that we can think of? Some really beautiful, yeah. So we could describe it as amazing, beautiful, wonderful, stupendous, fabulous, all of those kind of words as well. Sunny, bright, absolutely. Okay, some nice initial thoughts there. But we're going to start structuring. So let me just, if you want to, you can pause the video at any point that I was writing these and use this language. But for now, I'm going to rub these off because we're going to start building some sentences using language. Okay. Setting descriptions. When you describe settings, you can use different features. So you can look at the adjectives, you could use powerful nouns, you could use powerful verbs, you could use adverbs to describe the way in which creatures in the setting might react, or the way that the sun cascades down onto the landscape. You can, but we have got one specific focus today. We are looking at fronted adverbials. Oh, I've given it away, haven't I? No, forget that. You've forgotten that. I didn't say anything. What we're looking at are sentence openers, because they're not all of that thing that I've just said. We are looking at how we are opening our sentences to help us describe. And I'm going to show you several ways that you can take away at the end of this session and try and write me a beautiful description of this landscape. So let's take a look at them. What initial language comes to mind? That was the task that we just did. I put that in case I forgot, but I didn't forget. So there's my reminder. Okay, the key focus, as I've just said, key, get it? The key focus, it's not even a joke, is it? I apologize. I take that one back. That was bad. The key focus is sentence openers. The key focus is sentence openers. And, oh, I've put a picture over my picture. Just give me a second. There we go. Back to the show. One of the ways that we can start our sentence is by using positional language. Yeah, we can use position. We can say where things are. We start our sentence by saying where things are, and then we follow it by a comma, and then the main idea. Okay, so the starter here is below the shimmering, comma, that's not where the sentence opener ends. Below the shimmering golden sun. So now I've put a comma because I've said exactly where the where the sentence opener ends. Below the shimmering golden sun. That is my position. I've said where something is. And now I need to say something that is below the shimmering sun. Okay? Below the shimmering sun. So what is below the shimmering sun? Well, I've said, and I've extended it, the lands spread endlessly. So below the shimmering sun, I've said that the land, because this is my main idea, what's going on, the land spread endlessly. And then I've added more, a carpet of greenery. There, the carpet of greenery is a metaphor because I'm saying that it is. It's not a simile. I'm not saying it's like a carpet. I'm saying it is. It's a carpet of greenery. So I started with my opener, below the shimmering golden sun. I put in my comma, and then I put my main idea after it. So I didn't start with the land spread endlessly. I could just have that as a sentence. The land spread endlessly. But I wanted to improve my sentence by adding a sentence opener. And I did that by saying where that land was. Just a word for the chat. Please keep your comments kind and nice and to the point about the video. Otherwise, you will be taken out from the chat. Okay. That was mine. Let's build our own. First, though, what I need you at home to generate me a list of words about where things could be. So, for example, I have put below. Can you think of any words that describe position? Below. Everywhere or all around, absolutely. What else could we say? All around, below. Under, wonderful. When else? Next to or by, lovely. Along with by, you could say beside. At the end or on top of. On top, behind, over, surrounding. Can we think of any more? Above, we haven't got that one yet, no, above. Let's add that up there. Any others? Close to, in the distance, nice. In the distance. Close to, or nearby. Spread beneath, maybe, or spread above. Yeah. Spread around. Spread is a good word. Any others? Far away. Far away, there was the sound of distant chirping of the birds as they played. Far away. Okay, we'll pause it there. I think we've got enough language. And if you're watching this later, you can use this language that we've gathered to build your own sentences. Okay, so using the picture, and we'll use the chat right now, using the picture, can you structure me a sentence where you start it with some of this positional language and then add a main idea? Let me give you a few more examples using what we've got. On top of the tall, mountainous rocks, there stood resilient trees. So I said where it was and what's happening. All around, you could hear creatures chirping and moving to and fro. Underneath the bushes, there were rattles and murmurs of the woodland animals. Can anybody else add to that? Start with a where word. Make sure you say exactly where, so below the horizon or in the distance. Put a comma and then tell me what. Far away, don't forget your comma. The sea glistened. So the sea in the background, maybe. Absolutely. Far away, comma, the sea glistened. Next to the coral water, or cool water, or the deep blue water, the deep sapphire water, comma, was the tall towering trees, were the tall towering trees, plural. Remember, comma after the, here we go, first comma, well done. In the distance, comma, there was beautiful fog, because it's singular, it's all together. There was beautiful fog surrounding the trees. So you've got two different positions in there, and you've got your comma. Below the sky, don't forget your comma. Below the sky, comma, lay a magical, mysterious field. I love the alliteration there. You could almost turn that into the song. A magical, mystical field, a magical, mystical field. Where are we now? Oh, we're in a magical mystery field. That's a terrible song. I apologize for even singing it. Any others that we have? Any others that we can think of? Anyone could use the word spread. I'll be very impressed. Can anyone use the word spread? Spread beneath or spread above, or littering the hillside maybe, or anything else that you can think of in terms of position. Pop it into the chat. And whilst we are waiting for more answers around position, I'm going to move on to the next way that we can build our sentences, and then I'll check back in with the chat later to see if anybody else has got some really good answers involving that. If you aren't live, or if you're revisiting this, don't forget you can pause at any point and use the language to build your sentences. Oh, we're getting a few more in. So we've got below the beautiful clouds, and the comma is in the right place. Was spread a glass, I would say lay there rather than spread, lay a grass field or a field of grass, and don't forget your full stops at the end. Spreading, comma, the grass grew. I would say I would go further than that. So spreading, the grass grew out in all directions. But you can start with a verb. Spreading, the clouds danced across the sky, but it also needs another verb in there somewhere that extends it. Above, comma, the fog. Now, so the comma would come after fog because you're saying where it is. It's above the fog. Above the fog, comma, the mystical sky was glowing. I'm doing a story. Great. Well, make sure you've got those position words in there. As I walked through the field, comma, the grass was spreading out. Okay, so we've got a character in there as well, and you're saying exactly where that character is. Let's pause there. Let's go on to time. So time is another way that we can start these sentences. So we can use time to pinpoint when things are happening within our setting. So here is my example. In the earliest moments of daybreak, that tells you it's just at daybreak. In the earliest moments of daybreak, comma, because again, just like position, after a time, you would put a comma. In the earliest moments of daybreak, small critters darted to and fro, lapping up freshly formed beads of dew. So the early morning water that drips from plants. So there, I've started with a time, and then I've said what is happening with that time. So let's get some time words. Let me start you off. At daybreak, I've got that one up there. So at daybreak. In the evening. Maybe the time is a season. Close to summer. All of these we would follow with a comma because we could say what's happening. So we could say, at daybreak, the light began to cascade down over the hills like a shimmering waterfall. In the evening, the last golden rays of the sun screamed out above the hills. Close to summer, life once again filled the valley. Can we think of any other? So just a moment away, or just a moment later. I'm going to put it just a moment. Just a moment away, just a moment later, just a moment before. And again, those two could work, couldn't they? So we could have later. We could also have before. Before the sun rose, always case could have been darkness. Later, light. An hour later, yeah. So adding more making that more specific. So an hour later, comma. In the afternoon, absolutely. So if I've got in the evening, we can have in the afternoon. After, just after, yeah. Or afterwards. And that's the kind of language that you would use, kind of in a recount as well, isn't it? The kind of time was first, next, then, after that, all of that kind of thing. At sunset, like it. At sunset. A day later, or later that day. Ha! That's kind of like played with the sentence there, isn't it? It's very similar. A day later or later that day. Wonderful. Some great ideas. All right, let's take those then. They're going to be our help for the people writing at home just then as well. Just then, birds went swooping through the sky or something like that. Take one of these, and in the chat, can you follow it with a comma and add a main idea? So something that's happening at that time. So close to summer, the trees sprang into life. Before the sun rose, all was in darkness. At daybreak, the first beams of light cascaded around the valley. In the afternoon, the lazy heron swooped down to take a rest. An hour later, he was back searching for food. A day later, comma, his belly was full of fish. Can you think of some? A year later, I turned 11. Try and make it about our setting description, though, please. I mean, that's true. Close to summer, the grassy fields became alive once more. Love it. That's good. Great idea. Contender for answer of the stream, maybe. And whilst I get some answers in the chat featuring some of this language, I'm going to go ahead to the next slide and have a look at that. You type them in for me and let me know what you think, starting with time openers. An hour later, she saw a mysterious, mystic animal. Yes, charging over the hills, maybe, to finish that off. A year ago, it looked like, well, say exactly what it looked like. So a year ago, the land was barren and empty, but now it was full of life or something like that. A year later, the trees grew larger. We seem to like that. A year later, and close to summer, the flowers were ready to rise, full stop. Lovely idea there as well. Okay, we're going on to our next type of sentence opener. Another way that we can open our sentences is by using manner or saying how, and we do that by using adverbs at the start of the sentence. So here I'm talking about the sun and I'm saying that it gloriously rose because an adverb describes a verb. So the sun is rising. How is the sun rising? Gloriously. But rather than me saying the sun rose gloriously, I am starting with gloriously, and then I'll say that the sun rose. Now I could keep it simple like that. Gloriously, the sun rose. Or I can up-level my language and try and build my sentence somewhat. Gloriously, the sun rose with dazzling beauty above the sleepy hill. So there I've combined, I've used not only the word gloriously, but I have said where it is. Gloriously. Now, think about how the nouns in this image can perform actions. How do the actions happen? So, for example, a tree might sway. How might that tree sway? Well, that's how we develop our adverbs. So it might sway slowly. A lot of adverbs end with ly, but not all of them. The trees may sway peacefully. They may sway calmly. How might the birds travel? How might that light shine down? I said gloriously, but that's not the only way. Can we think of any adverbs to help us describe? 1 year later, this mysterious mouth-watering. I think that refers mainly to food. So maybe think about that. Grassy Place had become famous for its stunning, picturesque views. Absolutely. The mesmerizing sunset as the white silver moon rose. So that I would take and I would say as a time as the white silver moon rose, comma, the mesmerizing sunset. Okay, mysteriously, yes. So something could happen mysteriously. Absolutely. Anything else? Mysteriously, something could happen mysteriously. Mysteriously, the animals hid amongst the fog. Any others? Well, I'll add a few up while we're waiting. So something could happen gently. Something could happen smoothly. Something could happen playfully. Something could happen happily. Any others? Can we add any to this list? What do we think? Something could happen suddenly, absolutely. Yeah, the action could be sudden, and that's changing pace. So something suddenly could happen. Calmly, quickly, absolutely. And fast as well. That's one that you would have without an ly, but it could happen quickly, absolutely. Good answer. Quickly. Anything else? Quickly. Two quicklies there. Anything else? Stunningly, yeah. Shockingly, yeah. So shockingly, the sun, or dazzlingly. Eagerly, yeah. Eagerly, the animals collected the different berries and fruit. Eagerly, I love that one. I'm going to add that one up. Could be answer of the stream. Eagerly. Lovely. Eagerly. Magically. The sun rose magically above the hills. Greedily, yeah, those animals gobbling everything up. Love it. Greedily. Wonderful. And you can start with these. You could start a sentence with these words. So, gloriously, the sun rose above the hills. Peacefully, the animals slept in the bushes. Eagerly, they gobbled up all of the food. Magically, the river turned around its courses through the valley. And as it did, everything sprang into life. Smoothly, the clouds drifted gently across the sky. Good ideas. Okay, I'm going to give you some more ideas now. I'm going to give you some more ideas, and then I'm going to give you a word bank and tell you the task. So here we go. We've been using fronted adverbials. So we've been putting the kind of where, when, and how at the start of the sentence. And that's really changing those sentence openers in that way, or adding those sentence openers in that way, is using fronted adverbials. I know that sounds quite scary, that word, but that's all it is, and we've just done it, and we've done it quite well. Here are some other ideas about how you could vary the openers of your sentence, and I'll give you some cannot speak. I will show you some examples of other ways. 1. Action openers. And we mentioned this earlier, but you can start your sentence with action words, verbs. So here, tweeting and swooping, comma, the birds moved merrily through the air. Rustling and growling, the greedy animals ate the food. Burbling and swirling, the river found its course. Rising and shining, the sun lifted itself from its sleeping something. Swaying slowly. So there I've paired up not just a verb, but also an adverb, swaying slowly. The trees danced with the wind. So you can open sentences with actions, follow it with that comma, and then put the main idea after it. Emphasis. You could start with emphasis by saying what is the most or least beautiful in this image. Above all, the thing that struck Mr. Keeling was the glimmering, dazzling sun. Certainly, it was a sight to behold. Undoubtedly, it was something not to be missed. Of course, everybody who saw this place fell instantly in love with it. So emphasis, start with one of these words, your sentence, and it will give your sentence that emphasis, focusing on one part of it that's really, really important. Figurative language. You can start with a simile. You can start with a metaphor. Here we go. That metaphor from earlier that I used, a carpet of greenery. A carpet of greenery, comma, the trees stretched for miles. As green as an emerald, comma, the expanse of grass was a sight to behold. Now, you are used to adding these into a sentence later. So you would say, the grass was as green as an emerald. No, start with as green as an emerald and then say what? As green as an emerald, the expanse of grass, and then say what the expanse of grass is doing. Get that action in there to complete your sentence, because you need a noun and a verb pairing for the main idea. That's how we build a sentence, noun and verb pairings, okay? So just keep that and your sentence will, for the most part, make sense. A carpet of greenery, that's the figurative language, and then the trees, what they're doing, that's the verb, stretched for miles. Yeah, noun verb pairing, building sentences. Finally, a word bank. I'm just going to very quickly read through this. So astonishing, astounding, awe-inspiring, botanical, beautiful, brilliant. Botanical there referring to plant life. Beaming, so that could be about the sun cascading down, the beaming sun. Colorful, delightful, fantastic, elegant, fragrant, golden, glimmering, impressive, kaleidoscopic, like a kaleidoscope, lots of shimmering colors moving around. Luminous, so very bright and shining. Marvelous, magnificent, never-ending, natural, outstanding, pretty, picturesque, like a picture. You know, only once in my life, I have said that something is actually picturesque. It was when I went to Wales with a school group and we were on a residential, and all of us, the group of 10 that I was with, we climbed a mountain. And when we were about halfway up the mountain, we looked down and everything below, it was a bit scary, but everything below looked just like a picture, like an artist had painted it. And that's the only time in my life that I felt like that. Maybe because I was a little scared that we were climbing a mountain, but it was absolutely beautiful. Quiet, quaint, radiant, reflecting, stupendous, shimmering, and wondrous. I can see some people are getting excited about the raffle. I've just pulled out a name, so I know who is our winner for this week. And I am going to say that winner. Are we ready? Can we have a drum roll? The winner is for the Pobble Prize this week. And remember, if your name is in the chat, if you've commented on the channel, or if you comment on the video later, you may too win a prize. But this week goes to Sandeep Kaur. Sandeep, well done. Your prize will be waiting for you with Mrs. Jones in the office. For now, though, thank you for joining us for another Pobble Live. Please tune in next week if you put anything into the chat, because you have a chance of winning a prize then. And don't forget to collect your prize tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have fun using those sentence openers to build a description of that valley, that beautiful image. And please, I've seen some wonderful pictures. I've seen some absolutely wonderful adverts. I've seen some wonderful writing. Please do bring them to my class, because beyond just the Pobble Prize, I want to give out some gem cards. I want to read some of these to my class. I want to see the work that you've done. For now, though, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.